Hey, welcome back to another episode of Radio 22's Talk 22, the show hosted by me, your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. We back yet again, bring you the conversations that you want to talk about, and we bring it to you with nothing but the real. I want to thank everybody coming back from the episode that we had last week. We learned so much insight on that conversation. But as we always do, we move on forward, and we're bringing you a new conversation. And with this conversation, it's so exciting to me because you know, I've been going over the internet like I always do, and one of the conversations I've been seeing over the internet is of the subject matter of the high value man. Yeah, the high value man. That's one of the conversations I just hearing it's in everybody's mouths lately, and I'm like, what is this high value man? What are they talking about? And I just want to learn more about that. You see your boy got the fresh threads on today. I'm trying to level up myself. So, we're gonna talk about it. So that being said, I brought some of my heavy hitters to the show, like I do every time, uh, to the podcast, and I want to bring them to you today. Out of the Chicago area, I got my homie Lumilla. Lumilla, can you please let the people know what's up?
Greetings, all. Greetings. Thank you so much for having me. I am Ludmila Muse, and yeah, I'm here in the Shy. And a little bit about me. I'm an artist, and this topic has been coming up for me, especially this week. Um,
Right.
this is like my third talk this week, starting from Sunday. I've done one every day, so this will be an interesting topic. I'm an artist. You can follow me on social media. I'm just released a new television series called Looney Tunes, and it's a
Wow.
semi-animated series. Yeah, and it's right now it's streaming on demand on Roku TV and on Afro Vibes TV, and it just got accepted or selected for a film fest. So yeah, so just
A
in
lot
the
of great things coming from you, Lamilla. We thank
yeah,
you for joining the program as well.
sure. Thank you.
Also, out of the Milwaukee area, I got Lecha. Lecha has back to join the program. Can you say hello to the people?
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, thank you for joining the program yet again, Lecha. We appreciate you for that. Okay, so I'm going to just jump right into it and find out from these ladies here. With the high value man, one of the things I need to know, do you have to earn at least six figures to even qualify? I need to know that. So I'm gonna start with you, Lecha. What is that? Do you have to have the six figures to even qualify to be a high value man?
So I don't believe that you do. I think I'm a believer that I think a man does need his woman to pretty much complement him. So I think a lot of times there is a lot of men out there who maybe they have the right drive and maybe they somewhat know what they want, but maybe they just don't have that support or that someone that can encourage them to really push themselves to the next level.
Mm,
So I mean, there may, I think that, money is important in the areas where it can be used, but I don't think that that necessarily qualifies a man from being a high value man. I think eventually he can become a high value man and eventually earn six figures and do it together, but I don't think that would necessarily disqualify him from being high value.
okay, okay. I want to see if Lumilla agrees with that. Lumilla, when I look on the internet, one of the main things it says is you must acquire a six-figure paycheck to even qualify. And I guess is that very true? What they say there? Do you have to have six figures to qualify to be a high value man?
Um, in my opinion, no. So I have this thing with like these terms with high value and all of those things. And I have this conversation on IG Live with my girlfriend. We do these discussions about men, and our first talk
Hmm.
was basically about this. So she has an entire list. Okay, she has 15 items on her list. So the guy has to have these items on her list, and top of the list is that he has to make $100,000 or
Oh,
more net.
Okay.
So that's
Your
like
six
number
figures
one.
would require.
Yeah. So, we have this thing about lists and all these like labels and things. So for me, I'm an artist. And I do have a college education, and that's another thing that's on her list is have to have a college degree. I do have a college degree. I'm a Caribbean woman. My family comes from the island, so we have to go to school. But for me, that doesn't make a person. Like, if I had the choice, I wouldn't have gone to school. I would went to travel and done art, and just live
Okay.
free, but that's where, I think, because I posed this question to her, that what if the guy didn't have a college degree, but he's making six figures? Does
Uh-huh.
that cross him out? And she said yes. And I'm like, but
Mm.
there are millionaires who don't have
College degree.
college degrees or high school diplomas.
Right.
And you're going to, like, so I look at like love and everything as, like, for secure, not financial security, but like a love, like, a partnership. And of course, like, if you're going to have a man who is going to do those kind of things, of course he's not going to be broke. He's going to make sure that you're well taken care of, make sure that you're happy, that you're
Right.
fed, and that, he can teach, you learn from each other. You teach him things, but like having those titles and a college degree and all of those things, I grew up with people's mentality like that. And I don't think that defines a person.
Right. Right. I gotta agree with that. Um, since she went there, Lecha, I want to ask you the same question with what she just stated. Is is a college degree required to become a high value man, in your opinion?
So, in my opinion, I don't think so. Just like she mentioned, I think there is a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur myself. My husband's an entrepreneur, and I'm around entrepreneurs day in and day out. I mean, I can't
Mhm.
tell you how many investors I run into who have a net worth of millionaires, and
Mhm.
they don't have a college degree. Some of them didn't even graduate high school.
Mm.
So I do think that there is, however, I do think that there is, men out there who are very educated, doctors, lawyers, a lot of people who have, who had a really good education, and they earn well, and they're very high value. But I don't think that a degree or a title necessarily makes them a high value man, in my opinion.
That's not where the separation lies. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
We're going to further define this a little more. Okay. So, TLC once had a song where they talked about no scrub, right? And in that song, they talked about sitting in the passenger side of your best friend's ride. So I want to go back to you, Leach, and ask, do you have to have your own car and home to be a high value man?
So with that one, I would say a car, yes, most definitely. Because if you can't even strive to find a way for you to get from one place to another, I mean, then what are you really shooting for?
Right.
Now, when it comes to a house, I'm, me being in the real estate side, I guess that one I feel like it's a sometimes, because same thing. I feel like sometimes there's men who maybe they're comfortable just in a apartment who, where they don't have to deal with snow, or they don't have to, they don't care for gardening or any of that stuff. We do, at least
Right.
I do.
Right.
I think a lot of times men sometimes tend to kind of look for those things once they actually found the right partner. So I think at that time, that's when they start looking at, maybe starting a family, maybe buying their first home, or
Mhm.
some of them may even start off maybe in like a small condo that's just kind of like that, bachelor life or whatever. And then
Right.
eventually, start, working towards, those goals once again together. So a car, yes. Home, not really.
Okay. Uh, Ludmilla, on that same tip, I want to ask, basically, can I not possibly live in a high rise apartment and take the train every day? Is it required that you must have car and home?
See, for me, no. So I had this question and I almost got chewed out about this. So I just moved back from LA and everybody in LA doesn't have a car.
True.
Like there are certain cities, it depends on where you live. And that to me, a car is not a big deal because you can find a way to get around. You can rent a car, you can call a car service, you can call a private car service.
Right.
So that to me isn't a big deal because that doesn't say maybe a man doesn't want to be paying thousands of dollars like for a car. Maybe he has the money and just doesn't find any use for it or whatever, but he has access. So those things, or maybe he's afraid of driving, or there's so many things that can play
Okay.
into this, why this person doesn't drive or doesn't have a car. And not to say that he doesn't know how to drive or whatever. There's so many reasons, but to me that's not a big thing for me. Even the house thing, because certain situations are different. You never know what a person is going through, or like Lecha said, you never know. Like, what if a person doesn't want to have a big house, living alone as a bachelor, and like, oh, I have to take care of all of this. That's an extra expense. A maid, because I'm sorry,
Right.
probably ain't cleaning, like, but I do know some brothers who clean for real, like really.
Okay. I was gonna say.
But I'm just saying, if he's working and has his career and all of those things, he's not going to probably want to do all of that, plus being alone if he's single, So
Right.
there's that to me is not a big issue either. Now, if he's like starting to date and get serious with someone, then if they're starting to talk about these, changes and everything, then, a house, we'll call Liche and say, what's up? What's going on with these properties?
Right.
So again, that's not a big thing for me.
Okay. So that doesn't necessarily make you a scrub.
It doesn't necessarily make you a scrub. Like I know like big recording artists who are like right in LA right now, who are riding in the passenger side,
The best friends ride.
just because they're just riding in LA, and it's not a big thing. Because you never know what the situation is. Again, maybe this person is unable to drive, or maybe that's his car and he's letting his boy ride it. So you never know. Maybe the
Okay.
best friend is a scrub. Like we don't know.
Right. That's true.
Thing.
Okay. So see, hey fellas, you heard it here first. T-Boz was a lie on that one. So we're gonna move on. All right. So is he a high value man if he is financially abundant but limited on time? I'm gonna go back to you, Lamilla.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So for me, time is I need some time. Okay.
Oh,
You see,
okay.
this shirt says amor. Ludmila means love.
We see
I'm
it.
all about like peace and love. You see the flowers, I'm
Mhm.
all about like that,
Okay.
So for me, time is everything. And I don't think that a person is any more high or less value by the hours that they work. But for me, time is a huge thing. I need some time with my man.
Okay, I hear that. All
Yeah, I
right.
don't know if I answered the question right, but I'm just right.
Hey, this is your truth. Yep.
But I'm just saying,
Okay.
I need to.
You need the time. Okay. She is claiming her time, people. That is what she's saying. She is claiming back her time. So,
Yeah.
all
Yes.
right. Lecha, we want to ask you, the same question. If he's working hard and he's going hard for that check, trying to clear the 6 figures that you guys was talking about earlier, what if he's working hard to get these checks and he's paying all the bills and he can pay all your bills, like Beyonce said, pay my bills, but he can't be there all the time because he's trying to put in time at work. Is he not high value if he's financially abundant but limited in time?
Yeah, with that one, I'm gonna have to agree with Ludmilla. I feel like, yeah, we need our time, and I think, there's times where, it kind of goes back to, okay, money is great and money is, is important in the areas where it's important, But I think that, you know, the time that you spend with each other, the memories that you spend with each other, you know, you don't always have to go on, you know, fancy vacations or drive luxury cars or whatever. But as long as, you know, once you learn how to appreciate the small things in life, then it's one of those things where you just really appreciate that time with each other. So, yeah, I mean, a great pay and maybe a job that maybe requires a lot of time, yeah, it may be great, but I don't think that that's something that would necessarily be stable, just because eventually there's going to be, you're going to need to spend time with kids, you're going to need to spend time with a wife. And if your time is already limited going into the relationship, then it's just going to, I mean, I think it's just not going to work out in the future, because then I feel like that's just going to open up for arguments. And I mean, ultimately, we need our time. We need our time together. And yeah, so that's my take on that.
Okay. So spending that time, like you stated, and you said you need that time, and we all understand that. In that time, does he have to like the same things as you? You know, that there's another song that says he gotta like the same things as you. You know, is that a true statement in your opinion? I'm going to Alicia.
I'm sorry, say the question again. I got distracted with the comments.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, Alicia. So stating with the time invested, does he have to like the same things as you? Like if you like the rom-com movies, does he have to be into the rom-com movies? If you like taking long walks, does he have to like that? Or you know, if you like going to beaches, can he like going to beaches? Or I mean, does he have to like that, or can he not like going to the Bucks game or the Bulls game?
No, I think it actually, I think opposites attract. And I think, you know, that's really what kind of makes the relationship fun, you know, because it's like if you like the same thing, yeah, you know, maybe we'll go to, you know, something, maybe a concert or something that we both like. But then it's like, what else is there to discover from each other, you know? And I think it also kind of goes to having our own time, you know? For example, like I love MMA, jiu-jitsu, all of that fun stuff, you know? My husband, he's like, I don't care to be smashing guys into the floor, you know? So, you know, but if that's kind of like my time with my girls, it's what makes me happy. And, you know, not to say that, you know, we don't always try things that, you know, maybe we, you know, that just make it fun. You know, maybe I'll try things that he like, and maybe it's something that I'll eventually end up liking, or vice versa. But no, not necessarily. I think, like I said, I think I'm a huge believer that opposites attract, and ultimately that just makes it really, really fun, and it just spices things up a little bit.
Okay. So, same question to you, Lamilla. Like, if he likes fishing and that's not really your bag, I mean, does that take away from his appeal as being a high value man?
No, I think what Leisha said makes so much sense. And I'm a kickboxing instructor too, by the way. So if you like all that fighting, you know, like watching that kind of stuff, you know, I do that.
I have a sparring session here
I know,
between
I
us.
just laughed when you said that. I was like, oh, that's really dope. But no, I think like, you know, opposites do attract, but also there are so I was talking to this guy, and he and I, we didn't know, like we were friends, but we didn't know we were friends through a friend. But once
Okay.
we became friends on our own, we had so much in common. It was like he was the male version of me. It was so weird. He does different things that I don't do, but so much of the same things we do. And it was so creepy, but so amazing. It was like, oh my God, you do that too. Like, oh my God. It was just like so cool. But opposites do attract, but like you can have that magnetic thing that will draw you together. Because I felt like us being that way, he and I, it was
Yeah.
like so magnetic. It was just so like I finally found somebody who is like a weirdo like me.
Yeah, that connection, right?
Yeah, so I think it helps, but also if they're not doing the same thing, or you know don't like the same things, there's also compromise. So let's say you know the man goes fishing, but I don't like it, I would probably just go just to hang out with him because that's my time.
Right.
He's working all day, but he's doing the fishing and he's inviting me to go fishing and I don't really care for it. I would probably go just because I want to spend some time with him.
Got to reclaim your time.
Yeah, So that, but yeah, I mean, like Leach, I've mentioned too, it's good to have your own things to do just to give each other space. And then you come back and, for more amour. That's it.
Hey, good segue. I like that. Okay. So that being said, part of being a high value man is, at least from what I understand and read, is you're only as valuable as what others perceive you as, and others being the female gender in most cases. So my question to you is, does the high value man have to get along with your friends and family to be high value? I'm gonna go back to you, Lumila.
I would say family, yes, but the friends, I mean, it would help. I don't want that bad energy around me. So if he doesn't, it would have to be like a really good reason why he didn't like one of my friends or that. But my family, I have 2 sisters. And so, they're gonna be, my sisters are like interrogators. And
Okay.
they're like, they ask 12 million questions and they have to like you, or they'll tell you like, oh, I don't like him, or he's not, and sometimes when people do that in your family,
Right.
and your friends, you get mad at them and then you're still with the guy, right? But then later on, you might be telling them like, something will come up and it's like, oh my God, they were right, but you want to see it. But for me, it would definitely help if my partner got along with my family and friends. But if not, again, I would need to be my own investigator and find out why. Like, why do you have this deep hatred for my girl or whatever, vice versa? Like, what is going on? And then sometimes, certain relationships have to be, done with. So yeah, it's like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm in love and I really love this person and he's not doing these things, you just have like a real bad hate for this person, then you gotta go. You can't be putting this like negative seeds into my relationship, and it doesn't diminish his value. It because everybody's not going to like everybody, but if this is my man who I'm rolling with and I love him and he's done nothing to me, then yeah, you gotta bounce because
that's for you. Okay. Yeah. But do your mama and your daddy have to love him?
Well, I had this issue with my dad. I got married when I was really young, and my father did not like my husband prior to us getting married. And he hated the whole situation. He hated that I was getting married. I was young, and he just hated this whole thing. He was unhappy. Even at the wedding, like the night before the wedding with the rehearsal, he was just like, it was just so bad. And then even during the wedding, and then the following day after the wedding, it was just so much. And then, come to find out, he was right. He wasn't the man for me, and it was just at that time, I just, wanted to see what I wanted to see. So, I would, yes, again, I would prefer that my parents like this guy, because if they don't, again, I need to know why. I need reasons. Yeah, I was fighting these reasons when I was younger. But if it's clear now, I'm an adult, I'm 41. So like if it's clear, it's like, no, I need to, no, okay, it's not happening. Then we have to have a discussion, everybody, because if it's something that can be salvaged and we can all sing kumbaya at the end of the day, cool. But again, if we can't all discuss this together as adults, then somebody's got to go.
Okay. And they may have them wrong. You never know. They may have them wrong, or you may be wrong. We don't know.
Well, that's why communication, exactly. Somebody's going to be wrong, but that's why communication is like, we have to have a family powwow. Everybody put their pillows down, and we will do that. So we need to find out, because if this person is going to be in my life, I need peace. Again, at this age where I'm in my life, I need peace. So I'm not going to argue or anything, even with my parents. I don't have the time or energy. I just
ain't got time for that. Yeah, I feel you.
No.
Okay. So Leisha, we're gonna move on to you. We want to know the same question though. Do your girlfriends gotta love him? Do they gotta think he's sexy? To be a high value man?
I really think it depends. I agree with a lot of the things Lamila said, because I think it really depends on the type of friends that you have. So when it comes to friends, I think sometimes you have those friends who maybe they just haven't found the one, or they have a man who's not high value, and maybe yours is, So I feel like sometimes I don't know if sometimes it may be intentionally or unintentionally, they just kind of try to see those same things in your relationship. And I think sometimes, that can bring, when you're bringing so many of those opinions into the relationship, then it just kind of can throw things off between you and your partner. Now, if it's, people who are genuine with you, who maybe are, they have a great relationship, they have great marriages, they have, they're great, but they're seeing something that maybe, like she said, you're not seeing in your partner, or you're just too excited and too blind to see it, then that may be a reason for you to say, okay, maybe there is something going on here that, maybe he isn't such a high value man as I thought he was. So I think it just, really depends on your relationships and your friendships. And like you said, I mean, sometimes some friends have to go, and that's just the reality, because energy is contagious. And if they're bringing that negative energy, then I want to stay away from that. I need a steel umbrella for that.
Yeah, they may just be jealous. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think
good.
My husband and I feel like we ran into that a lot. When we were younger, we were in the clubs a lot. And, I feel like there was a lot of people who we felt were maybe our friends at the time. And then turns out that maybe they weren't, because once we started doing things and moving things and making moves, it's like, okay, maybe they're not so much of friends anymore. Maybe they, they just want to put things in there that, they just don't, to kind of sabotage your relationship. So, that's my take, at least on friends. Now on family, same thing. I think with family too, I think that can be a really touchy subject, just because I think it really depends on the relationship also that you have with your family. Because I think sometimes as parents, they can tend to, you're their baby, so they're always going to want what's best for you no matter what.
But daddy knows best.
Right. But, sometimes I think too, it just, sometimes it can be a little too, I guess, where maybe they have certain expectations of someone and what they envision someone is going to be for you, but maybe that's not necessarily what you want for yourself or your marriage or your partner. But I think ultimately there has to be some type of, connection between them, and that respect at least. And so I mean, I know with our family, I mean, I'm Mexican, my husband's Puerto Rican, and I can tell you, he just learned all the moves. He learned how to dance. He learned how to eat the food. And I'm like, my family is like, where's Gino at? Every time I show, it's like, okay, hi, but where's Gino? And it's like, okay, all right, okay, I can deal with this.
Yeah, he's a lot easier, right? When everybody
it sure does.
Able to gel with your man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a big one here. Does a high value man have to stay in great physical shape to still be considered high value? I'm gonna go back to you, Leisha, and ask you that question. You're the Miss Kickboxer here.
So with that, I think obviously if there is some type of condition, that prevents you from doing that, then, that might be a little different scenario. But in my opinion, I do think that it should be important because in reality, health is wealth, and, so I think, if it's someone that, wants a future with you, it's like you're in it for the long run. So I think, health is important. So it's like if you're not taking care of your health, if you're not doing, what you need to do, then how are you eventually going to be, going to the park with the kids, like, I don't want someone with, in a cane with my kids, it's like, is it grandpa or is it dad,
Okay.
So I think for me, I think that is, it's big, my husband and my husband and I, we've done a lot of changes to our diet. When we were younger, we were eating everything, we were drinking, and it just, we felt the consequences, and, now we've changed our diets. I'm fully vegan. He's, like 90% there, but, not that he has to be, but, just keep in mind of, what we eat and, making sure that, our health and our body is still strong and we feel healthy,
Right.
So I think, for me, that's very, very important.
Okay. All right. So shout out to one of our listeners said, absolutely not. That's only for the women. Okay. So he's saying the women have to have the little compartment. Okay. Shout out to you, Vel. If you out there also agree with what Vel's saying, please leave your comments as well so we can see that. He wants a steak. Okay, shout out to you, Vel. Ain't nothing wrong with a steak. Out there every once in a while. But we do gotta take care of ourselves. So Ludmilla, I want to ask you, is the body requirement, is that a requirement that you must be in peak physical condition to
Yes.
be a high value man?
Yes, because health is wealth. And not only is health wealth, but it's like what you put into your body, it just says so much about what you say about yourself. I've been vegan for 17 years. So when she said she was vegan, I was like, yes, yeah.
Okay.
I was vegan before it was a trend, before anybody was like, oh, you're like, I was vegan when there was only like tofu to eat, right? But no, 17 years in, and then like I said, I'm an artist, but I do kickboxing, and I also am like a Zumba instructor too. So I'm very physical. With being an artist, I dance. Like right before this, I was like dancing. I was like I needed to stretch, but it was a great way for me to like dance and like to stretch. I was just dancing, and I need a partner who, for me, and not even about me having a partner, but I think I work out a lot.
All
So
right.
my partner is going to have to be, able to keep up with me. Again, I'm 41, but I like running. I want to stay healthy and fit, and like, I want to be young. I don't want to be like, I remember when my mom was my age, she had just had my younger sister.
Okay.
And I just remember she was just older,
Yeah.
It was just older. And it just seemed like, the same. I don't want to like, I like my agility. I'll say that.
Young and spry. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So for me, a partner has to like again, with what you put in your body, like that's high class for me, or high value man. Because a guy who really cares about himself is not going to treat his body any kind of way. Not saying that he has to be like Iron Man, or do those marathons and those things, but some type of physical activity and eating healthy, because how long do you want to be around your partner? Like I want to be in this for the long haul. So if you're putting junk into your body, again, it's an energy exchange. So if you're putting trash into your body and I'm kissing you and or being physical, that's coming onto me. And those things have like certain kind of energies into them. So I need, to make sure that we're on the same level, on the same page. So yeah, it would be a blessing to have that. Like, that's a high value man.
Well, let me ask you this though, Lamilla. To Val's point, one of our listeners who just made that comment. If you are out on the date the first time and he orders the tofu tacos and you're expecting him to order the steak tacos, like, is that really still looked at as a manly
Yeah,
man?
so the guy who I was telling you guys about, who I found, like, I had so much in common with, right? He's vegan. He's been vegan like about the same time as me, and he's a little bit older than me. So he cooks. He cooked for me. And like, we go to eat and he orders like manly vegan stuff. It's not just like, so like he pretty much, he'll order for me because he's like that versed in that lifestyle, so I think it's sexy as hell. If I'm go ahead and order them tofu tacos, baby. What? Tofu? Yes. Extra.
Shout out to Val. Said I bought a juicer
Right, he bought his juicer today. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I think it's I think it's beautiful to order those tofu tacos.
Okay. We appreciate that. All right. On that same level of thinking, I guess we're just going to go there. And I need to ask Lecha, is sexual performance, is that a high value to the high value man when it comes to the ladies?
So, yes, I think that is very important, because I feel like if you don't have, I feel like you connect with your partner, you can connect, there's different ways of connecting. But if you can't connect sexually, then it just, then something's not there. And I guess, it's one of those things where no matter how much, you can try to make it work, you can make everything else work. If you don't know how to eat healthy, okay, hey, I'll show you, like you said, like that energy, and this is why we do this, and this is why we do that. But with, being sexual, like, it just has to be there,
Has to be right, huh?
Yeah, it has to be there.
He can't just make a lot of money. He can't have the car and the house and do the 6-7 figures.
And then that would make me just, how do you call that? Gold digger, and that's not what I want for a man. I need a man.
Okay, I hear that.
I know how to make my own money. I know how to make my own moves,
Nice. Okay, shout out to Gino. Romantic nights inside the Benz, I'm telling y'all. Okay. Put the juice to the use. Okay. Your husband's on a roll. All right. So we need to know from you, Ludmilla, the same question. Can you not make a lot of money? Can you not be in good physical shape and have be desirable by family, friends, everybody else wants your man? But at the same time, at the end of the night, he just can't serve you the way that maybe that Doug might, that Mr. No Good, who's broke as could be.
Why is it usually that way though, right? But honestly, intimacy is important. So I would say it's not even like size or any of those things. It's like a level of intimacy, because it depends on what a person likes, right? But that has to be there, like that desire and that intimacy and that wanting. It has to be there for it to make it work. And then
let's rewind what you just stated though. Are you saying that equipment is not important?
Oh no, it's important. But what I'm saying is,
wanted to be clear.
No, but here's the thing. There's people, and I have discussions with women all the time, and I've heard, and people say that they've had guys who were like 7, 8, 9, and that didn't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So that they just, so it doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. More so on the intimacy level is because
Okay.
package could be amazing, but it's horrible. You know what I'm saying? Or it's
Ah,
so many other things. So it's intimacy, and then you have to think certain people have had health issues prior to whatever. So they might have problems.
yeah, yeah.
You
There's
know what I'm saying?
people who have issues. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? So like there's impotence and all so many things. So again, it's just even like those men who have those things, they figure out a way how to please a person. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
again, it's a level of intimacy. Like when you're having that with your
they take
partner,
that little blue pill.
they find
Oh,
a way. Look, where there's a will, there's
there's
a
a way.
no, there's a relative waiting for these non-vegan men to go on and no, let me stop. But I always say that where there's a will, there's a relative. But
Oh, okay.
they're
He's
just
looking for his high value brother. Okay.
waiting for these high value brothers to drop dead so that they can take the check. So, but no, then intimacy is a big thing in a relationship, and a lot of the times, when you meet someone, there's like that attraction already. Like there's like a physical attraction, and
Right.
so then you might be like, well, dang, it just did not, or like I was really attracted, but then it may. So it really depends on the person, honestly. I think so. Because I too don't think that lessens him in his, value. If he don't know how to fix it, again, because there are people who take roots, like natural roots, who don't even go through the blue pill. They'll take natural roots, like maca root. I've told you
Right.
I've been for 17 years, and they, brothers might be having problems. There's maca root, there's ginseng, there's moringa powder. I mean, there's natural ways to,
Wow. Put that juice into
actually,
use.
yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, listen, juice in use. That's right, because I actually am coming out with a product right now. I'm
Oh,
sea moss brand, Muse Moss. So like sea moss helps.
sea moss. Okay, you heard,
Yeah. So
fellas, you heard that. Sea moss.
there are ways
Check your
to
Amazon.
exactly. There are ways to, figure it out.
Okay. Oh, one of our listeners has a question here. He says, how often do women want that session to happen? That's a very good question. Lumila, let's go back to you with that one.
It depends. I'm all about it more. I told you guys.
Okay.
So if I have a partner,
Like, is that important? Like, how many times or how long?
um, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. Because I mean, you could be going for an hour and it's horrible, but you want it to be over. Like you're like, oh my God, like with this end, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be very joyful. You can have 15 minutes of like amazing time. So time doesn't matter for me too. So I'm pretty I have to be careful of how I'm going to say this. I'm easy, not like
I get what you're saying.
I'm easy in the sense where a lot of things don't, I mean, I have standards and all those things, but like certain things don't like, get to me. If I like a person, and I'm like in love with a person, all those things, like there are things that, I think come naturally too. So again, like you have 10 minutes of beautiful passion. Like I can kiss my partner for like an hour and nothing happens. And that to me is like so intimate. It's just like,
Mm.
so beautiful. Like I would rather do that, sometimes just be like in this person's arms and just being held and, just kissing and just looking into his eyes, and there's no, session going on. Like that
And
is
that can be seen as high value
yes, to
to
me,
one. Okay.
absolutely. Because intimacy is so many different things. It's not just like, sexual, I think. Intimacy could be a person coming behind you, like Erykah Badu said, I want somebody to come up behind me and kiss me on my neck,
Mm.
he might walk by and slap me on my booty. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that will like.
I told you, fellas, we're gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today.
Yes.
Uh, all right. So, Lecha, on that same tip, are you high value? Does that still wrap into the whole how long you can go, or how often? Is that a part of it for you in your mind?
Um, I have to agree with Lumila on this one. I think, it just depends on that connection that you have with your partner. It can be a week that you just want it every day, and there can be days that, like you said, maybe you just want to snuggle and you want to just have that intimate moment and, just a little bit of, rubbing or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think I don't think it makes it, where it has to be, it's mandatory for it to happen, every single day of the week, or, I think it just really goes back to that connection that you have and what standards. I think you really just eventually you kind of just learn how to study each other, what things each other likes.
Mm.
And then you just know how to please your man, or he knows how to please you, and you just kind of figure it out when you want it.
Okay, so that's all important. Pleasing your partner, fellas. Pleasing your partner is high on the high demand. I probably wasn't even high enough when I did that, but nonetheless. All right, we're gonna go to the next question. And next question we're gonna move on is he high value if he makes no time for the kids or even wants children? I'm gonna go back to you, Lecha.
So I think when it comes to the kids part, I think that really depends on what your values are. Because you could be a person that maybe doesn't want kids and, you just want a partner just, have a good life with. And that's totally okay. Then maybe your partner doesn't either. But if you do want kids and your partner doesn't, then I think, that has to be something that, may need to be addressed at some point early in the relationship, just because otherwise, you're going to have certain expectations of something where maybe your partner doesn't. And I think when it comes to planning kids or, planning a family in general, there is so much that goes into that, that once again, just having that communication with your partner and, knowing what it is that each other wants is going to be important in the beginning. And I'm sorry, what was the second? Oh, the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the time. Same thing goes back. Actually, no. With time, I think, like we said, we need that time. So especially when it comes to kids. I want my man, to spend time with the kids. I want him to, my boys to be like, I want to be like daddy when I grow up or something,
Okay.
So if he doesn't care to spend that time, then it's just kind of might as well like you're like a single parent, So yeah, I guess that would be my take on it. I think going back to the time, time is important, whether it's with, definitely time with your partner, but also time with the kids, because otherwise they grow up so fast and before you know it, they're grown and they're out and, they didn't get to enjoy whichever parent wasn't there. And that's something that, I think kids, eventually remember and,
Right.
just not a good relationship to have.
Okay, so Lamilla, let's say he's a celebrity or whatnot, or let's say he's out on the road and he has to go make the money, and he's busy trying to be the man that you are desirable, that you have, but you had kids and whatnot, but he has no time for that. And the expectation is that that you hold down the home. Is that bad?
He better
For him
make
to think of that?
No, he better make some time. I'm here with these children all this time, and if it's more than one, nobody. I didn't do this by myself, okay? So we got to fix it. But that's where communication comes in, because there are some times that, there's relationships where the man is so adamant about not having children. And then
Mhm.
slips up, the woman really wants a baby, and then she slips up and gets pregnant. and then he's pissed, but he still stays married. And then, he's not happy with this, with the child. He ends up loving the child, but doesn't spend any time with this, with these children. So I think that, it affects children later on. So those discussions really need to be happening, like Lee just said, beforehand, because communication in that sense, there are so many people who end in divorce, and then the children, suffer,
Right.
and I think it does lessen him as a high value man if he doesn't, because a father is supposed, like, men are hunters naturally. So you're going to go out there and get the bag and make sure the home is taken care of and all of that, and
Right.
has everything. But, men are also leaders, and they have to be leader in their household. So they have to, teach children, because when the father is not there, you have to think, what happens if the father dies, or something happens? Then the father has to have taught the children, okay, if this happens, this how you got to hold it down for your mama and
Mm.
your brothers and sisters. So yeah, that is really important. I think it does lessen with the time. Yeah, you got to spend time with them. And then what the other part of the question was,
The other, if not spending time, even wants kids.
yeah, if he doesn't want kid, don't even like force it, because it's not going to end well. That's where these conversations have to happen, because if he doesn't want children, I don't think it makes him a less of a value man in that sense. If he doesn't want children, it's preference to me. But if he is in a relationship with a woman who does have children already, again, that has to be known. And then if he doesn't want children and he's not wanting to be a stepfather, then yeah, you can't date him, because he's not going to be, wanting to be around your child, and that's your child. So
Mm.
I don't think it makes him a less value man that he doesn't want children, but like the time thing, yeah,
You
like,
gotta put it in.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Shout out to Selena Powell, who said that she was trying to get all these celebrities to get her pregnant. So, they're trying to trap you out there too.
Yeah.
We know about that. All right. So, final question: is there a race or age requirement to becoming a high value man, in your opinion? I'm gonna go back to you, Ludmilla.
I don't think so, because everybody's journey is different. There could have been a guy who went to college and, got his education, and he found his career and then hated it, and then decided to go backpacking across Europe, but he had money or whatever, and then he decided, okay, now I want to go start a business or whatever. And then he's become successful at 40, 50 years old. I don't think the age thing matters. Again, for me, it's more so um, the heart of a person,
Mm-hmm.
that makes him high value. It doesn't, like, it's not for me the things that he has and that he acquires and the education and all of that, because again, they're smart dummies. And it's just like, there are people who are jerks and they're like considered high value men. But, I don't think that the age thing differs. Like, is a thing for me, because I'm 41 and I'm really just now starting to get into my career as an artist. So, um, yeah, because I put it on the back burner for other people. And, I've been doing it throughout throughout my years, but now I'm really immersing myself into who I really know I've been, So I think people change, and what makes somebody happy. It depends on what makes you happy. So yeah, if he's like 40, 50 and just finding his career, or 30, whatever age, he's like, oh, I finally found it and I'm happy and I'm successful, then I think that makes him more high value man than a man just working a job or having a career just to have one.
Can he be 80 years old?
80, yeah, but there are people 98 years old graduating from college
Okay.
and getting married. I don't want to be that age getting married, but there are people who are like 80 years old, who are getting married and who are going to college and who are changing. I think we put so much limit with like age, because who's to say how long that person is going to be here? And who's to say, like, we don't know what the creators,
what their plan is.
So what if that person is 98 or whatever and they're 81 and he reverses in age somehow? I'm just throwing it out there. We don't know.
Benjamin Button. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think that. I think that people put too many limitations on that and think that, oh, when you're 40, you should have this and that. And there are so many things that happen along the way in life, and you can't, you think you can plan, like they say, man plans and God laughs, so it's like, we don't know.
Never know what's in store. Okay, I appreciate you for that. Now, Leisha, final question to you is, does a high value man have values? Does he have to have values? Does he have, we look at it, there's, so much talk that high value man, they won't open the door no man more for women. They don't offer you their coat. They don't do the chivalry. They say chivalry's dead, I guess. Does a high value man have to be chivalrous?
Yes, I think so, because I mean, you want to take care of your partner. So it's like, if you see me freezing over here and yeah, maybe I didn't want to bring a coat, even if you told me, well, I still need a coat, or simple things like opening doors, like, I mean, that's just rude if you don't, but yeah, I do think that they have to have manners, they have to have values, they, just be kind and courageous,
in the illegal activities?
As in
illegal activities.
Yeah, no. I think if you want, I mean, if you have a partner who, doesn't want anything for themselves and they just want to be out doing all this craziness, then hey, maybe you guys are just meant to be, they can do crazy things together. But if you're someone that wants good for yourself and, you have your goals and and your partner is on the complete opposite boat doing a bunch of craziness, and no, that's not a good fit, and that's not a high value man for me.
So you got to get your money the right way, fellas. The right way is what she's saying. You get to 6 figures, but get it the right way.
You can't buy a house with no cash, under the mattress. The bank's gonna be like, it ain't going.
Okay, you heard it here first. All right. Well,
can I just add to that real quick too? Like,
of course,
I think a high value man will keep you safe. Is going to keep a woman safe. So he's not going to be out here doing no dirt. You better be a smart businessman, but protecting his woman. That's high value.
All right, you guys. I told you're gonna learn today. You're gonna hear it here first from the women themselves. So we thank you, ladies, for teaching us more and helping us define exactly what a high value man is. We also thank everybody that left their comments for us in the comment section. We appreciate that as always. Please also look for Ludmila and her music. We're going to leave her contact information posted again. You can find her on Facebook and IG as listed there. Please look for her music as well. Thank you, Ludmila, for joining the program.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I learned some things too. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. And also we had Leisha on the program. Leisha, you can find her there as well on IG and learn more about her kickboxing and all that, and we appreciate you as well for joining the program as well, Leisha.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun, and I felt like I found, my long lost sister here. So
wonderful. We're all about making the connections here. Radio 22, Talk 22. But this is your boy Mizzle Jizzle. We thank you for listening as always. I'm your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. You've been listening to Radio 22, Talk 22 here on Radio 22. Until next time, y'all. Peace.